Welcome to Corporals Corner. Today we have an overnighter inside of an emergency shelter, so stick around. Before we kick this off, I want to address something. You might notice a pink or reddish stain on my shirt. What happened was I just spent 5 days out in Ohio assisting at a wilderness first aid class. And unfortunately, I was one of the victims. But don't worry, they all did a great job. Now about today's video. Usually for those of you that follow me, you know that I try to show 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 skills every single week. So I thought today, why not change it up and try to combine a few of those key skills that you've seen over the past few months and to wrap them all into one long or longer video, probably about 35 to 40 minutes, so you can see how all those skills come together. And that goes along with my philosophy of if you're armed with a few hitches, a couple of lashes, and a handful of knots, and survival were real, you should be good to go. So enjoy. As usual, let's go ahead and kick this off with our gear list. Starting at the top, here's that green bag that I was carrying earlier that carried all of these items. It's nothing more than a rubber-lined bag, and it's commonly referred to as a Willie Pete bag, and most people in the military pre-2000 era carried one of those. And what it was for is it basically gave a waterproofing layer to your Alice pack. Next we have a queen-size wool blanket, 1 roll of number 36 bank line, a beanie or boggin, and in case it gets cold, I have a sweatshirt with a hood. Now moving from left to right, we have 2 cotton bandanas. Those are about 2x2s, I believe. Roll of Gorilla Tape. We have a ridge line. This is mule tape. It's 1,800 pounds break strength. I have a ferrocerium rod, Bic lighter, and a magnifying lens or sun lens. Next we have more Bushcraft Black, 2 canteens, 2 is 1, 1 is none, nesting cup. We'll come back to this. Back on my left side, we have a compass, which is a Sunto MC2, ranger beads or pacing beads. I have a headlamp with extra batteries, and a redundancy of a cutting tool. I have my Victorinox one-handed trekker, non-serrated. I've zoomed in on this section right here. I want to show you that I also have 2 55-gallon drum liners that are 6 mil each. So there's 1, 2, and something that's not shown. It's currently between these 2 trees over here providing some shade, is a OD Green Grabber all-weather blanket. We have a Baco Laplander folding saw. And last but not least, I mentioned I would come back to these items. This represents the extra items I'm going to bring. So other than camera equipment, these are the only extra items I'm going to use while I'm out there. We have a pocket fishing kit, a Leatherman Super Tool 300, and a 2-foot by 2-foot signal panel. And there you go, real quick down and dirty, there's the gear list for the trip. And if you look at those items closely, they represent the 10 C's of survivability, along with some redundancies, meaning certain items have duplicates or even triplicates. Now, I'm asking myself, do I want to walk around through the woods carrying those items in this bag and just walk around with Corporal's bag of crap? Or do I want to do something about that? And I think I have an idea. So in order to assist me in carrying that bag of gear, I'm going to create a ladder style backpack frame. So I cut 5 branches about 1 inch in diameter. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to carve notches, like a log cabin notch. I'm going to place these horizontals that are perpendicular to my rails. I'm going to tie them off using a diagonal lash. So the first thing you want to do is line it up, get your layout. Take a knife and just simply score it on each end where you want your horizontal or crossing members to go. And using my Victor Knox one-handed trekker, take the easy route. All we're going to do is I'm going to cut into this no more than halfway. Then go ahead and pop that chunk out. Then just keep on doing that all the way down the line. Almost done here. Now it's time to tie our diagonal lash. That's all we're going to do. Take our bank line, go up underneath. We're going to wrap it around. And just like all my videos, it forms a seat. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around itself to create a timber hitch. And we're going to pull it tight. We're just going to wrap it around 3 to 4 times. Make sure we continue to pull it tight. Then we're going to go up around and cross over. Again, 3 to 4 times. And then finish it off here with a clove hitch. Just go around, cross over itself, forms an X. Before we do that, let's go ahead and grab a stick for our toggle. And using this as a toggle or a T-handle, we're going to pull it really tight. Let it cinch itself down. Now cross over right here with our clove hitch. I'm going to go underneath our X. Pull it tight. I'm going to cinch it back on itself. And do an overhand knot or a pretzel knot right here. And we'll trim off the excess. And finally burn the ends. And it's just a secondary precaution. It melts like paracord, and then you push it onto itself. There you go. Place it inside of itself, forms a lark's head knot. Now I have 2 pack straps. Alright, we found some water. It's actually about 45 minutes before it gets dark. And we got some weather coming in. Check this out. That's heading right this way. Just in that short amount of time, the clouds have already moved and they're almost right on top of me. So common sense is it might be wise to set up camp or shelter right here. So I gotta look around here, and all I'm seeing on this side is a sloping surface. Now right across from me, across these ponds, nice flat level area, but check it out, it's full of mud. Now if that rain dumps on us, those ponds I'm quite sure are going to fill up, and I don't want to be over there. So I want to be in this general area. So right now we're looking for a good shelter spot. Now we'll keep in mind the 4 W's. Is my shelter going to be in the proximity of water? Yes, it is right there, so I can hydrate. Is my shelter going to be in the proximity of wood in case I want a fire? Say it doesn't rain, I want a fire. Or tomorrow it passes over me and I want to get dry. Plenty of dead wood laying around here. Am I out of the wind? Right now there is no wind, but that could change. And lastly, I'm looking for widowmakers or dead trees. Check this out over here. That's a big fat negative right there. You do not want to shelter anywhere near that thing. Okay, this spot right here looks pretty good to go. with respect to our 4Ws. The ground's pretty flat. There's a slight slope over on this side, but I'm not worried about it. Got the water right there, no widowmakers, no wind, and wood everywhere. So again, I think we're good to go. However, those clouds are right there. And I probably got about 45 minutes of light left, so it might be smart to make some type of raised bed. That way I'm off the ground, I can stay high and dry. And I have a great idea for that too. We're going to go ahead and kick this off with a tripod lash. Grabbing 3 of my poles that are about 4 foot in length and 2 inches in diameter. Take my bake line and I go around them and underneath, just like before, and it creates that small little seat. And then from here, we're just going to go underneath 3 to 5 times. And then pull it tight. Now I want to wrap around all 3 poles no less than 3 times. Those are our wraps. Now I want to go in between them, and those are called fraps. And we want to do that anywhere between 2 and 3 times. I'm going to go and pull that tight. All we're going to do is we're going to cross over here, do the exact same thing. We'll pull that one tight as well. And we'll finish off right here with a clove hitch, just like before. We're going to cinch it down to have the exact same overhand knot or pretzel knot to be used as a stopper knot. And I'm going to cut, and just like before, we're going to burn the end. Yeah, it's good to go. Okay, we got 2 tripods set up. Cut down 2 larger poles. I'm going to run as horizontals right here. I'm going to lash them to my tripod and slide my 55-gallon drum liners over top of those poles. And we're going to make an improvised raised bed, kind of similar to the one I did a long time ago using my military poncho. From this point right here, we're good to go. So I might actually forego lashing the poles. Gravity and friction is holding the bed in place, just like it did with the military poncho a couple years ago when I filmed that. So right now what I want to do is grab a ridge line or even a ridge pole, run it from tripod to tripod, and then put up the grabber all weather blanket in an A-frame style. That should be good to go for the night. All right, so it's dark and I ran out of light, so I apologize for that. But you can see right here we have a tripod. There's the pack frame. Got my pack straps used as a ridgeline. Grabber all-weather blanket in the A-frame configuration. All the way down to my second tripod. Then all we did was he staked it in the ground. Some improvised stakes. And we should be good to go. Now what's important with this shelter is the grabber all-weather blanket has to be on the outside of your poles. Otherwise, if it rains, the water's just going to rush right inside. And the last thing I want to do is we have a lot of dead air space up underneath here. So all these leaves and debris I want to kick underneath there. As much as I can. Outstanding. Should drop down to about 50 tonight. Not too cold. But with this improvised raised bed, it should be high and dry and good to go. Let's get inside, check it out. Let's see, overall comfort level, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. It actually feels like being inside of a hammock. And I'm gonna say it's probably about 7 or 8. No BS, this is actually comfortable. And right now I'm sweating because of all the work I was doing. However, I'm pretty sure that tonight when it drops down to 50 or maybe even a little bit less if the wind picks up, I'm probably going to end up getting cold. But with the wool blanket and I insulated the bottom of the 55-gallon drum liners, should be good to go. And believe it or not, there's actually quite a bit of room in here. I'll turn the camera around and see if you can check this out. Extra batteries for the camera. So here's my feet. Now the tarp is not as tight as I'd want it. So maybe next time, instead of doing a ridge line, I'll run a ridge pole. But for what it's worth, it's pretty comfortable. And right now, it is almost 10 o'clock. So I'm gonna say lights out and we'll pick it back up tomorrow morning. Laters.
Well, we survived the night, so let me get up, get moving around, and then I'll give you my critique. Stand by.
And here you can see it did rain last night, what we're talking about. So I'm gonna shake this and get those raindrops to roll down. See, the drops are gonna go right off outside of my sleeping area. Be high and dry, good to go all night. Welcome back. This was good to go. Now it's time for my critique. Like I mentioned last night, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, this right here was easily an 8 or a 9. And for me, it was the same as being inside of a hammock without all that movement. Now, the one thing I would do differently, and I talked about this last night, was I would run a ridge pole versus a ridge line. And the reason why is because a pole will give you something rigid to pull against, which will allow you to tighten your tarp that much more. Now let's talk about a few things. First, and truth be told, I deliberately waited
for 2.5 hours before dark to come out here and set up. And the reason why is because I want to try to simulate that day hike gone wrong, where somebody's out there, maybe they're lost, but yet they're smart enough to think, I see bad weather coming, I might not be able to hike out of here, so let's shelter in place. Second, I wanted to give you guys a video with a combination of skills that we talk about to show you how it makes up the big picture. I think we accomplished that. And third, I believe in testing myself. It's called leadership by example. You never want to ask someone to do something that you haven't already done or are willing to do. So as usual, with that, thank you for your comments, views, support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field, have some fun. I'm going to catch you next time.